Tuned into the Shadowsphere. Welcome to the Shadowsphere, where the whispered truth comes in loud and clear. Laugh in the dark as the clues appear. Yeah, we shine that light in the Shadowsphere.
Thanks for tuning in and welcome to the Shadowsphere. Scals, hit record.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of Welcome to the Shadowsphere. Today, I am joined by the Crazy 8 tournament winner, Tyler Arrow. What is going on, my guy? And welcome to the Shadowsphere.
Thanks for having me. That's quite an introduction. This is the first time since that show I've actually heard myself called the Crazy 8 winner, so that's pretty cool.
I'll dive right into it. Right after you won, your friend PD Skills comes down to the ring and ultimately betrays you. How are you feeling with that, man?
I mean, it's got to be jealousy, right? Like, not on my part. I mean, I had 8-9 months off. You know, I had to bust my ass to get back there, and he had to take upon himself to be jealous that it didn't take me that long to get to the top again. The only thing stopping me at this stage is him being in the way. But there's also the matter of that there's still Brandon St. James that doesn't seem to be fully done with me yet either. So the option lying there is I have to pick one or the other.
I don't know how it all works in that regard, but I would just say both and just go at both of them. Winner take all.
Yeah, no shit.
So Crazy 8 was my first in-person live event. I have watched Deathmatch online. I've seen clips. I keep saying this to everybody that's watching when I talk to everybody because it's just the truth. But you and Brandon are my very first in-person live match.
Okay.
And
we opened that one.
Yeah, and I said right after the event, that was the match of the night, and I still stand by that.
I'm not gonna lie. I did go to the promoters and request the opening match, knowing realistically what both of us are capable of. But that being 8-9 months off with 10 broken ribs and a collapsed lung, and I'm jumping right into the deep end of a deathmatch tournament. I'm like, well, if I'm on first, I get some time to make sure that I'm got to go back to the hospital again because I didn't know what I was in for, to be honest with you. I haven't, aside from some easy training and getting back to fundamentals and the basics, the going off of a 10-foot ladder through a pane of glass and a barbed wire board is a completely different story. So,
yeah. So you're saying 9-10 months off, and I'm going to get into the story about the injury, but you just alluded to it with 10-foot ladder, man. Deathmatch itself is already a crazy enough thing. Now you add the element of flying through the air into these objects. How do you mentally and this might peel back the curtain a little bit, but how do you mentally get going for something that extreme in that sense?
And that's the thing in my case, and this is contrary to popular belief, I'm not a fan of heights. Never really been a fan of heights for that matter. So going into it, like the preparation is this is going to suck regardless of the outcome. Be it if we pull it off, if we don't pull it off, it's going to suck. But I find the aspect of the crash and burn, so to speak, isn't as bad as that anxiety you're giving yourself leading up to that. Not to pull that back too much, but I mean, like the amount of things I've done where honestly, I'm all in my head about it. Like the leading moments or even the hours before thinking about it are much worse than even what it ends up actually being. So at this stage, it's kind of more, I can't say there's a lot of prep to it. It's just in my mind, it's like, I'm probably going to be all right. It's like, because there's a chance with anything that you're not going to be all right. You could take a bad pile driver and get fucked up. Like it could happen.
Just a simple jumping out the ring.
Psycho Sid back in the day, snapping his leg, you know?
Still gross.
I was going to say that clip that none of us like to see.
No.
So in terms of coming off that ladder, going to the barbed wire, it's like, you know what, let's just deal with it after. Like, obviously, because glass, barbed wire, you're going to be cut up regardless. unless it's an immediate emergency where you know something's wrong, deal with it later. We got people in the back that are trained to handle that stuff, and personally, I've never had to have a match stop yet. And last time I said something like that, I jinxed myself and ended up in a hospital. So we'll see what happens with that one, you know?
Yeah, I'll knock on wood for you.
That's it. Now, the last one was talking about how I've never been seriously injured in deathmatch wrestling, and then I think 2 weeks later was the Big Bang.
So currently in the state of wrestling, whether it be traditional or deathmatch, your biggest rival right now is Brandon St. James.
I would say currently, yes. Currently, yeah.
Before the incident, and we can start into that in a second here. Right after I ask this question, you can go into the injury as well. But before this injury, were you on each other's radars, or what was happening?
We hadn't really been on many shows together. Me being a Canadian, him being an American. To my knowledge, he had just started coming up here within the last year and a half. Now probably 2 years, because I was off for almost a year. There wasn't really a whole lot going on. Like at the time, me and PD Skills being boys, I felt the need to object myself into a scenario where I wasn't sure if at the time Skills was going to be able to handle it. That was kind of where things started between us, because you got the whole group of TFC and no other group. So really kind of comes down to a numbers game. So we were never really on each other's radar until I went to bat for who was at one time my boy. So yeah, I know the show in Toronto, the Malice show, would have been the first time we really even interacted much at all.
Okay. Well, in correlation to the episodes, your episode number 7, following you is TFC's own Will Carroll. So by any means, if you wish to take any shot you wish at TFC, you are before him. So,
I mean, I think he's had enough shots from me. I think I've whacked him with the fucking cheese grater crutch. I whacked him with the barbed wire chair. I mean, I don't know how many more shots I could take, and the guy just keeps coming back.
So, I want to know what happened in the match, because I believe it was a no ring match. You got the injury from.
Yes.
If I did my homework correctly, is the no ring were you in St. James?
Yeah,
and
that would have been
a big bump.
Oh yeah, that would have been the first match in Toronto for sure. I have nothing against the people who love it. I have never really been big into the no ring stuff myself, but I do take pride in being one of the more versatile guys. I can wrestle. I can do deathmatch. I'm in a tag team. I've been in a faction. You know, I got into no ring. So never really been big on that, because I'm sorry, bumping on a floor hurts a fuckload more than bumping in a ring or bumping really anywhere else. So it was one of those things where we got to make, got to make a statement. You know, I believe it was All Out weekend. There was a lot of shows going on. It came down to one of those things where it's like, what are we going to do to get Canadian Deathmatch and Invoke talked about? And it worked, but it worked at the expense of my ribs and my lungs.
So what degree, you say the broken ribs, now I'm assuming a bunch of lung came with that?
Yeah, but the funny thing was what they told me at the hospital was the lung itself didn't get punctured. It flattened from the impact.
Oh,
like,
geez.
there was no hole in my lung. Otherwise, truthfully, it probably would have healed a little bit easier. But because it was such a blunt force impact, it just took the wind completely out of my left lung, and it didn't come back. Because most of the ribs considered broken, but were fractured. Like, none of them were snapped, fortunately. But yeah, but I believe it was 9 on my left side, and there was 2 breaks in one of those. So there was 10 breaks over 9 ribs. And honestly, like, even in that moment, it wasn't a matter of like I knew something was wrong. Truthfully, I thought I broke my collarbone.
Right.
my collarbone ended up being perfectly fine, apparently.
Crazy.
But as far as the lung went, I just thought I knocked the wind out of myself. I'd done it 100 times. You know, I've been sports as a kid, wrestling as a teenager, wrestling now, boxing as a teenager. Like I had the wind knocked out of me more times than I think I've had matches. Like so at that stage, it was like, okay, like whatever, like let the wind come back. And then I noticed as I was getting to the dressing room, I was getting more and more hunched over because now that the adrenaline's starting to wear off, the pain's starting to go. But every time I took a breath, it was almost like I was suffocating on nothing. Like it was just, and it became, I could breathe in like the slightest amount, but I couldn't breathe out. Like if I breathed out, it just sounded like I couldn't get anything out. So that part actually ended up being more concerning than anything because I didn't know what the hell was going on until I got to the hospital. Like they threw me in a neck collar for 6 hours. They got mad at me for getting off the stretcher and going to the bed by myself. I got in a lot of trouble there.
So here you are, after arguably your craziest spot in deathmatch wrestling, from the sounds of it.
Yeah.
Like there might have been crazier, but this is the most profound, I guess you would say.
Yeah.
You're laying
depending on who you talk to.
Right. But laying in that hospital bed for the amount of hours that you are, and I'm sure it was a long time because we live in Canada and it sucks here. Sorry, I had to throw that in there because our healthcare system sucks. Did you ever deliberate with yourself the fact that you might not go back to wrestling, or was that just never a question in your own head?
Honestly, the first night, because I was in the hospital for 5 days. That first night, I was waiting it out. I had a show to be at the next day. I had 2 shows to be in the following week, and I'm with my fiance, and I'm like give it a few hours. I'm not going to pull out of these shows yet. I might be okay. Like just fucking naive and stupid, thinking I'm gonna be able to pull off anything after that. So, but over the course of the 5 days, like the first 2 were the hardest, and then they let me, because they had a tube in my chest that was helping everything inflate and deflate properly. So I had to carry around this fucking briefcase that was collecting fluid from my lung.
Not the money in the bank, but the briefcase. That carries fluid.
Pretty much. So after 2 days, they told me I could finally get out of bed and walk around. I just couldn't leave the hospital. So those first 2 days, I contemplated a lot of shit. Like, I was like, am I going to be good? Like, because even for months after it, I questioned that. But after those first 2 days, when I started walking around the hospital, and I was like, I'm moving around. So as long as I'm moving around, I got a shot. Right. And then they were taking 2 x-rays a day, 1 in the morning, 1 at night. And like by morning of day 5, they're like, all right, you're good to go. We're going to pull this tube out of your chest, which was more terrifying than the bump. And then you can be on your way. But yeah.
That's insane to me. And then Crazy 8 was your first match back to wrestling completely?
Oh yeah, completely. Like I think I can't remember the exact date. It might have been like September 19th or September 16th or whatever that weekend fell on that I got hurt of 2025. And it would have been April 11th of 26. So it ended up being about seven collective months. And even now, like I'm taking bookings, but I'm not like loading up my schedule yet. Like
you're still kind of like baby stepping into it. Well, I can't say that, but in a sense, you're baby stepping back in.
Yeah, like I had a point to prove in that case, but it was one of those I'm good motherfuckers. But like now it's like I can pick and choose for the most part. Like I think this month I only have 2. Like I think I have 2 bookings this month, but they're fun ones, so it's fine. But yeah, that first round match, well, that was my first match collectively. Like even going back to a training schedule, I didn't even run through any like 5-minute like run throughs or anything like that, like on my own time. It was really just cardio drills and fundamentals. And then before I knew it, it was April. And I'm like, all right, we're doing this. Like, because I spent more time in that time off getting in shape again because like I ended up going up. Like I normally would sit at 180. Like I've never been a big guy by any means, but I went up to 200, and it wasn't a good 200. Like it was like my the curse of the men in my family with the beer guts, and none of us drink. So,
That's me,
but,
man.
but like I think over 5 of those months, I dropped like 32 pounds, changed my diet completely, started working out like anywhere from 3 to 5 times a week, depending on what I had going on. And like it was like one of those things. If I can't wrestle, I'm going to focus this mindset somewhere else, because otherwise I'm just going to fucking go crazy sitting at home for the next 5 months, 6 months, whatever it was.
Fair enough. I know in that match, both my children that came with me, my 2 older children, they came with me. That's their first experience in deathmatch completely. They never watched it online, nothing, so they loved it. My wife was big into it too. Like she just loves like the ECW days, kind of like blood and guts kind of thing. So this was perfect right up the alley. But I think it was your match, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure you're the one that took the skate blade to Brandon St. James' head, correct?
Yeah, it got used on me that match. It got used on me in the show I got hurt, and then I used it on him as a payback.
And both my boys are hockey players, and watching a skate do something they're not used to, they were a little taken back by that. I remember my oldest was intrigued, but my youngest that came with me, he was very, I don't want to say horrified, because that's not the word I'm looking for, but like he was like,
it's like a minor PTSD scenario, you know.
As long as I'm doing it in a game, I think we'll be fine.
Yeah, like that's where like the cheese graters for me came into play. It's an everyday household item for most people, and we've all sliced our fingers open on it.
Oh fuck! I just did that earlier.
That's what I'm saying. So like when it comes to, it's like, well, what about on somebody's forehead? And fuck, I think it's been one of my weapons of choice for the last 3 years, and it gets the same reaction every time because everyone knows what it feels like. Like it's like as gimmicky as it can be. It's like Legos. Like everyone stepped on that shit. It sucks. So like I did. Funny enough, my first 4 matches were death matches because I had another tournament in Quebec for interspecies and new outlaws, and that was I almost got in trouble for that because my fiance couldn't come with me to that one. And I got thrown from a scaffold again, but this time into a ring, but through a pane of glass with Legos underneath it. And her first thing was seeing an Instagram story, and it was like, well, it kind of was like, well, if you're not hurt, I can't really be mad. And I'm like, I'm good. I'm like, I'll be home and cook you dinner. We're good.
That's the same card, and I can't remember who it was in that match, but that's the same card that somebody got thrown off the scaffolding onto the trampoline of barbed wire, correct?
Yeah, I call that the Connor Claxton special. That was Loic Duplessis and Evan Core, because Loic at the first Kings of Crazy actually had a match with Connor Claxton, and Loic took that. So I think it was his way of kind of paying the homage to him instead of taking it. It's like, well, now here we go, you know.
And Loic fought Wade at Crazy 8, correct?
Yes, that's
Tip City. Yeah, okay. Tip City.
Yeah,
that's where I started.
He was my first match when my first time out, or no, he was my second match when I went out to Quebec, and we fucking killed each other.
Great work on that guy. Got to get him on a future show with him to talk to. I'm not sure about the language barrier, but we'll figure it out.
He's pretty good. He's pretty good.
Yeah. Okay.
He's a lot better than most. Like sometimes it's just a matter of like, what's the word for this? But he knows what he's talking about.
Right. Naturally. Right. Quebecois and yeah, I get it.
Yeah.
Now I've said this in the past interviews that I've been doing so far. I'm doing this on behalf of Canadian Deathmatch. I'm not being paid to do it by them or anything like that. I just believe in what they envision and what they're doing over there. But I gotta say, credit. I feel like they're changing the scene when it comes to Ontario indie scene. Not just deathmatch, but they're making a lot more talent recognize Ontario on the map and bringing a lot of people up now. And that's just my personal opinion. I'm trying not to be biased because I am friends with them, but I'm seeing a shift within the Ontario scene a little bit.
Well, like there's always those like pockets where nobody's getting seen, nobody's getting looked at. There's always those pockets, especially just on the Ontario scene for sure. But the first Crazy Eight tournament is what got me in Quebec. Like that's what got my first booking in Quebec for another deathmatch tournament. And then as time has gone on, the more time I've spent in Quebec and the more I've done in Ontario, now I'm going to like I don't want to give it away. I'm going to another province soon, and that'll be announced eventually. I don't want to give that away just yet because by the time this goes up, it still won't be announced. So, but it's given a lot of us opportunities for sure. There's a lot of guys that want just to do the death match in other places, and I can respect that. But I've also known for myself that, and I've said it in the past, I got an expiration date as a deathmatch wrestler. I just don't know when it is. But objectively, between some of the guys I looked up to and just in general, I want to be able to enjoy the retirement one day. Like I'm 27 now, and I probably feel a lot worse than most 27-year-olds I know. Like,
oh fuck, thanks. I feel old now. Thank you.
Hey, if it makes you feel better, I started going bald at 21. So
listen, I up until recently, I cut my hair, but I had like nice long hair. But one more thing, I'm done with the deathmatch stuff, but I do want to say, rivals or not, the fact that you and Brandon were able to safely perform that match to a degree where nobody walked out with any major life-changing injuries or anything. Kudos to both of you. Kudos to you for maintaining your health and coming back stronger.
Yeah, no, I will say, Bob, just quickly, I'm pretty sure he ended up in a Canadian hospital for stitches. I don't think that was good for him.
But, oh no, the hospital in Canada, man, that's worse than the match. Now, you're also a traditional wrestler. You go all over your wrestling. You've been in the game 10 years, I think you told me now.
Yeah.
Where did you train out of? And, where's your like quote unquote home start for traditional?
That's the thing. It's a little it gets a little rocky with my start because I never want to talk ill of them, even though we're not on great terms anymore. But I used to train when I was 15, 16. I was training with a company that was called GWN. They were a very like niche group of their own. Like they didn't really bring in many people, and they was like we got our guys, and it was like 2-3 shows a year kind of thing. So, and that was where I got my start. And then they closed their doors. I believe it was late 2017. And I sat by the phone for 9 months and I didn't get a text. I didn't get a phone call. None of my stuff was received. So I found Rip Impact School at Hamilton Pro Wrestling because being in Brampton now, I used to live in Hamilton. So once I found that, like I consider Rip Impact School as home, but it's not my start.
Okay.
So because I got with Rip, I got with Rip in 28. Sorry, yeah, I got with Rip Impact in 2018. So I kind of those first 2 years were like my basic training, and then that's where I started my real training. That's kind of how I look at that.
And where have you gone with traditional so far? Like, are you just strictly Ontario based, or have you gone like into the States or maybe Australia or something? Where's it crazy taking you?
Hasn't really taken me many places, but that's also, I believe, because I kind of started to pigeonhole myself by doing more death matches than I was doing regular wrestling. And unfortunately, that happens to a lot of us. But since I've come back, like I do have plans to look into working with other companies. Like I did a couple of like wrestling matches in Quebec so far too, but since I've been back, I've had still more death matches than regular matches, but that's also because I was kind of going with what was the most important based off of where I left off.
Okay.
But I do prefer at this stage that it be either a healthy balance or more prioritized of traditional wrestling, because it's hard to do that shit every single week. Like, like a lot of guys try to pretend to be tough, and I'm gonna say pretend to be tough, And I'd be like, it's nothing to me. I can do it every fucking week. I can do it 2 or 3 times a week. It's like, I'm sorry. I don't give a shit how tough you are. That fucking shower hurts.
No, I can imagine.
Like, and certain tears, like, yeah, like certain tears, like I'd bend over to pick something up and like something on my back splits open again. That hurts. Like, it's different. It's different to me and others than it is to like day-to-day white collars or something like that, and that's totally fine. But it still sucks. It's fun. It's fun, and we all love it, but it sucks.
So going into the gimmick with the face paint, like I don't want to know completely about the gimmick right now. I'm going to have you on in a future episode to talk about all that. But when it comes to the face paint and stuff, you seem to be inspired by stuff you love, or is it just a character you developed? Because like with Jeff Hardy, it's all like inspired by his own artwork and stuff, right? And there's a lot of people that do the face paint. Obviously, the Crazy 8 you did, I can't remember his name. It's Captain something, correct?
Captain Spaulding, yeah, the Rob Zombie version of Captain Spaulding.
I'm not all well versed all the time in pop culture. I don't get enough time to. But yeah, so where does these face paints come from? Like, what draws inspiration? I've seen different iterations of yourself with different face paints on so far.
Yeah, because I think I mix it up a lot now. Originally, well, obviously, like you said, you don't want to get too into the lore of it, but basically, it was supposed to be a one-off. It was just supposed to be for the first Crazy 8, and I was just to try something. And I chose the Captain Spaulding just because, like, a big fan of Sid Haig. I'm a big Rob Zombie guy, and anyone who's almost in their 30s or in their 30s who didn't really pay attention to Rob Zombie is a liar in most cases.
I know the movie. I'm just not versed in it, right?
Yeah, yeah. No, exactly. Like, it was so. For me, it was like I'm a big fan of what's called the Firefly series. Those are the movies. And Sid Haig plays the Captain Spaulding, and I was like, I was a big Jeff Hardy guy, still am. I love Sting. I'm a big fan of Darby Allin. These are all guys that paint the face. So I was like, I want to do it. That was really what it came down to. And I was like, but I don't want to copy somebody, and I'm not artistic enough to come up with shit myself.
Yeah.
So I stole the Captain Spaulding bit. But as far as like the rest of them, I just kind of started dicking around now because I can. Like I've done. Everyone knows the Captain Spaulding at this stage. So it's like, fuck it, I'll do a half a face and see what happens. Or at the last tournament, I did the Captain Spaulding, but instead of blue, it was green. Like, just dicking around with shit and seeing what happens. And I mean, sucks at the end of the night when you got to clean that shit off and get it out of your eyes. But
I love the element of the face painting and stuff. But I wasn't a big Jeff guy growing up. Like, I love the Hardy Boys growing up, but I was more on like Matt Hardy's side of things because he was more technical, not doing these high risks. I still think Darby Allin's shit he's done, other than Everest, which I'll never do it in my life. So kudos to him. Sting, my podcast co-founder with me, Scal's huge guy. Sting, he loves that guy. So the face paint has always been around. I mean, you got Ultimate Warrior and all them that done it. But like that's great, man. I love that there's some kind of like tying you into your character, right? That's awesome.
And then that's what I find with a lot of characters. I find the best characters involve real life elements in some capacity. So don't get me wrong. Some people can put a completely fictitious character on and it work, but I believe the best ones are the ones that have either some aspect of your personality, some type of interest of yours, or some type of inspiration for the reason you got into something. Like, I think that makes it all the better because it makes it more you, for the lack of a smarter word that I can't think of right now.
Okay. Before I dive into who Tyler Arrow is as a person, what is a company? Again, I don't want names. I don't want anybody's names, but is there a company or someone you just won't work with anymore because they've done you wrong in the past? Like the hot dog and bullshit. Like, let's call it what it is.
I consider myself a businessman. Ultimately, I am willing to put just about anything aside, as long as we can both be professional. There's a couple of people that refuse to talk to me. There's a couple of companies that refuse to book me. There's a couple of people I refuse to talk to, and there's a couple of companies I don't really want to go to.
Yeah, life,
but if we can, but if we can sit down, and it doesn't matter. It's like, if it's you and me in this case, like you could hate me, I could hate you. But if we're on the same page about business and we care about the product, I'm more than open. And it's just unfortunate that there's a lot of people in this business that can't overcome that hurdle. Everything's personal. Everything is emotional. It's like, well, fuck all that. It's like, let's be professional and put on a good product. Because, yeah, we all want to have fun, but we also care about the product. Because if we have a shitty product, no one's going to watch it anyways, and then we're all going to hate each other no matter what. So if we're going to hate each other, let's at least put on a good product.
But do business for yourself in the match, and we'll be all right.
Yeah, like I've been fortunate enough I get along with just about everybody. I'm very easy to deal with. I like to think I'm easy to deal with, but I'm also not a fucking pushover either. And that's where a lot of people don't end up liking me, because I can't be pushed over. But that's fucking all stupid shit that has always existed in the business. All reality.
It's not just in wrestling, man. I get that over like in the podcast world too, is some people don't like that I won't conform and follow their paths to greater success. Man, we're doing it our way, and this is our way, and we don't let people push us around.
Yeah.
Last question of wrestling, and then again I'm going to dive in here. AEW calls you first thing tomorrow morning. They each offer you $1 million to come wrestle for them. Who are you going to and why?
Oh, that's a good one. Because before I give an answer, I'm going to explain something briefly.
Sure.
Because there's so much tribalism in our fan base, and there's such a divide. I love good wrestling. So, for example, if I'm watching, in this case, over the retirement tour, if I'm watching John Cena and AJ Styles, I fucking love it.
Right.
I may not like all the matches on the card, but I want to see that and I can appreciate it. But if on AEW, one of my favorites is Jon Moxley, I'll watch Jon Moxley and Kenny Omega any fucking day of the week. It doesn't matter the promotion. Back when New Japan was booming, it could have been so much as Kota and Kenny Omega. Like, I'm gonna watch it.
Yeah.
So as for me, it's more about the talent, realistically. And if I'm gonna go with talent in terms of people that, like, in my mind I look up to and would want to work with, it leans more towards AEW, but it also kind of leans more towards TNA at this stage too. And TNA's got that relationship with WWE, so there's a bit on both ends, realistically. So it makes it a very hard decision. But for the same amount of money, I'd go with AEW first, to be honest, and not in a tribalistic way, just in a matter of who's there.
I completely agree. I've been so jaded towards televised wrestling. I haven't really watched much of I'll catch the pay-per-views and I'll catch like the PLEs. Just not into it lately. Like, I just can't get around to it. My 13-year-old, he'll keep me updated on what I need to know because he's big into wrestling.
Yeah.
And I collect things and I'm a big collector and stuff, but I'm not. I don't know. I'm finding the indie scene a lot more fun to partake in because I get a chance to talk to people like you and anybody. Right? Like, I have a chance to go one-on-one and pick your brain and when you show up to the atmosphere at a building, you feel like you're there to be there and not feel like you're just a part of the background.
Yeah, totally. It's a lot more personal. And even before I got into it, I agree. I felt the same way. Like, there's something about that. It's almost intimate. It's more intimate. Like, like you can connect. It's not like this. Like, let's face it. I've wrestled, I think, in one stadium before, and it was a half stadium. And there's people who decided to pick up the tickets in the top seats. I didn't see anybody up there, and they were there. But I can't connect with those people. Like, I can try, but in all reality, like we weren't on the Titantrons or anything, so they don't have that view. They're just there because the tickets upstairs were $20. But like you're aiming for those people all the time. Like like the Germania where we did the Crazy Eight. There's the balcony. I'm always looking at the balcony. Like I'm paying attention to what's around me, but I'm always looking at the balcony too. Because
I think that's another thing I fell in love with. I've never been inside the Germania up until the 11th of April, and dude, like you said, it's that intimate feeling. You feel like you are there for a reason. You feel like it's family around you. You feel like you're watching your uncle and your dad just fighting in that ring right then. Like,
yeah. And if I'm not mistaken, that building has quite a lot of wrestling history to it. Like if I'm not mistaken, like Ricky Steamboat wrestled in that venue many years ago. Andre wrestled in that venue many years ago. Like I don't know the exact history of it, but if there's some type of shit in writing, I would love to do a deep dive into that. But these are just things that I've heard from people who know more than I do.
That I didn't know that, so that's something I just learned today.
Yeah.
That's crazy. So about you, a little dive into you. Do you collect anything? Do you play sports outside of like your pro wrestling career? Like, I don't want to know too much right now, but I want to know enough that leaves me hanging where I'm coming back for more.
That's fair. Shit. Nowadays I'm pretty boring. I'm a bit of a collector. Like I'm trying to look and see what I got. Like all my shit's kind of packed away, or starting to get packed away because I'm moving soon. But like for me, it's like not really a sports guy. At least as far as playing, like I'm a baseball guy. I like, even though I haven't done it in years, I like playing basketball, but I don't really care to watch it. Like it's one of those things. But no, it's like for me, I just kind of dick around with a little bit of everything and see what I'm good at. Like I tried playing guitar for a bit, tried for like 3-4 years, and still wasn't any good. So I just kind of started hitting people with them instead. I was fortunate enough to be a very athletic teenager in the sense of like the moonsaults and all that shit that I do now. I was just doing off of park benches at school as a kid and as a teenager. And like my parents used to hate me for climbing up on their roofs and doing a backflip off and shit like that.
Don't be doing that.
The Daredevil aspect was always there. Like, and I blame and in a good way. Thank Jeff Hardy for that, and Shane McMahon of all people, you know. But I know, like that's the unfortunate thing. I think I'm more interesting as a wrestler than I am as a person, depending on who you talk to. Anyway,
hey, man, we all have our things that are our things, and that's what makes it our things. You a video gamer at all?
Am I what, sorry?
You a gamer at all?
I guess and no. I don't really do anything online because people are too good for me. But I've been dicking around a lot on the Hitman games. I got the PS5, so I got the Hitman games, and I'm not any good at it, but I'm trying.
There's an entrance for you. Come out as a Hitman at one of your shows.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Like just get the barcode tattooed on the back of my head, like in the video game, and there we go.
You just have someone draw it on, so you can just wipe it off when you're done.
Yeah.
So you're born and raised in Ontario. You world traveled at all? Like outside of wrestling?
I've not necessarily. Like I've driven down to New York a couple of times. In and around Michigan, but that's more so just getting away from the day-to-day life with a fiance once in a while. Like I haven't really actually went and seen shit, but I did see that there's a Terry Funk mural in Amarillo, and I'd love to check that out, but that's like a week or two trip that it would be for me in this case. But like even seeing stuff like that, or even like Eddie Guerrero's grave in El Paso, I believe that's in El Paso. Like just seeing stuff like that would be really cool. Yeah, so like I got ideas. It's just execution, you know.
Yeah, and the way the economy is, it's not always fun to execute plans you want to do now.
Yeah, my gas tank is crying these days.
I feel like I got bent over today filling up, so that's
I drive a fucking shoebox on wheels, and it still fucks me on gas.
No more of the days are $5 fill-ups. That's for sure. It's $10 to get it started now, but What do you got coming up in the summertime that you can share right now that you want to throw out there?
Summertime.
Basically,
Honestly,
anything
not.
you're enjoying on.
I was gonna say there's not a whole lot. Like I'm in talks with a couple of companies right now, but nothing's really solidified at the moment. Like because I'm moving into a new place in July, so it's like I'm trying to keep a simple schedule, like a couple of bookings here and there, because I don't want to fucking have to spend a week moving and then go XYZ shows that weekend. But I don't know when it's going to be announced, but I want to fucking give it up, but I can't. But there on my socials there will be eventually an announcement of where the next traveled place I'm going to is. Like, I mean, as far as what's going on now, like by the time this airs, I'd have already done it. I'm going out kind of towards Ottawa way this weekend. That's for PCW, but it's a new company for me and my tag partner. Like, but no, as far as that, it's just a couple of just spot shows in some towns like I'm doing one in Orangeville in August. Like I think I'm doing Midland next month at some point. It's all just talks at the moment, but I can't remember any of the days to be honest. But I post everything on my social medias as it comes in. I'm very mostly active on Instagram. Facebook is just kind of there. All my Instagram shit goes to Facebook.
Gotta love the meta.
Yeah, I was never well versed in Twitter. I have it, I just don't use it. Same with Threads. I don't even know what the fuck Threads is, to be honest with you. I have all this shit and don't know how to use it. Yeah, the fact that I got this working amazes me alone. Normally, I have my fiance figure this shit out. So.
For the Americans listening, he's not wrestling for game-changing wrestling or game-changer wrestling. He's wrestling for Great Canadian Wrestling. GCW is here.
Yes, I'd love to. I'd love to for a Game Changer if they ever come north of the border. You know, I don't live far from Toronto, and that's seemingly where all the big companies like to run when they come this way. So,
yeah,
I'll put it out there into the universe. It doesn't mean it's gonna happen, but I'll put it out there.
Hey, there's nothing wrong with putting into the universe. You never know what's gonna happen. You don't know who's gonna call you tomorrow.
100%.
Given the fact that you're solidly in the Ontario indie scene, do you want to try to work your way down to Windsor to Maple Leaf Pro Wrestling and see if you can get going down there at one point or another?
Honestly, I'd love the opportunity. I can't say I see it in the cards, and not for any like personal reason. It's just like, you know, I maybe haven't done enough to get the eyes on me. Maybe there's too much talent, and they got to pick and choose. I don't know. But if I was given the opportunity, I'd gladly do it. My biggest thing right now for me is I'm working on my cardio, because with a collapsed lung, working that up again seems to be a lot more challenging than I thought it was going to be. But 100%, there's I believe, if I'm not mistaken, a friend of mine, Bryce Hansen, had a couple of showings there and seemingly doing really well for himself, which is awesome, because I remember working him early on and like seeing where he's gone to now. So. It's not impossible. That much I believe. It's not impossible. I think it would be more lean towards me as a wrestler more than a deathmatch wrestler, which I'm okay with, because, like I said, a big part of this return, so to speak, is going to be focused on a lot more traditional wrestling, because I still want people to realize that I still can do this shit. So.
Before I close out, because this will be my shortest interview, I understand you're a busy man. I don't want to keep you. But when it comes to the deathmatch scene, do you feel, because you're a traditional as well, do you feel like the deathmatch scene gets justified hatred, or do you think that people need to open their eyes and realize wrestling is wrestling?
I would say
you're both, so I can imagine you have kind of like a
I would say that's circumstantial, because I see a lot of guys that solely got into deathmatch wrestling, and like they didn't, like I know a couple of guys I'm not going to name drop, because like I do get along with them, But I know some guys who went to training for 3 months, if that, then got into deathmatch wrestling and never looked back. And unfortunately, it does show in their work. Whereas me, and I'm not putting myself on a pedestal because there's plenty others like me, I wrestled traditionally for 6-7 years before I even touched a steel chair. Like, I'm not saying it's got to be that long, but I do believe being a good wrestler, or at least having a strong foundation as a wrestler, is far more beneficial even in deathmatch wrestling, because if you can't tell the story, you're just doing the spots. And if you're just doing the spots, we can all just do the spots.
Yeah.
You know, it's not that hard in that capacity. So I believe that. Yeah. So I believe circumstantially it gets justified hate, but I also feel it doesn't get justified praise for the good in it.
That's fair. Like I said, your match with Brandon St. James to open the Crazy 8, like, even if you take out the element of it being a death match, you guys still put on a clinic. Like, there was so much story in that. It wasn't just, oh, watch what we can do. No, there was a mental story being told in front of you.
Yeah, and I find in those cases, unfortunately, a lot of that gets overlooked because of what the show was on its own. And I disagree with that view. I think a narrow mind is a stupid mind. You know, like, if you're not willing to open up your mind to new avenues, even if you try it and don't like it, at least you tried. Like, that's such a big thing. But like, there's this my way or the highway mentality, or the fucking only I'm right bullshit. Like, I hate all of that. Like, I give everything a chance. I'm not a comedy wrestling fan per se, but I can appreciate Danhausen. I can appreciate but that's the thing. But that's what I mean, though. Like, but like, he's not my. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, like, I can appreciate it, but it's not my thing. Like, even Joe Henry, even before the WWE stuff, like he was doing some entertaining shit, and I remember doing a seminar with him, and like, it was an interesting learning.
I love what Joe can do, and I love what Danhausen can do. I love their comedy in itself, but what I don't like is when the fucking IWC latches on to one little thing and they just don't shut the fuck up about it.
I have a love-hate relationship with the IWC. Like, there was specifically on Facebook an Ontario indie wrestling page, and it was such a fucking shit show of a group. I left it months ago because I was just tired of reading all the stupid shit from everybody.
That's why, like, everybody I'm just done.
Yeah, like, everyone giving attention to the stupid shit that doesn't need attention. And I'm not talking about like mainstream shit. I'm just talking about people who think they're fucking important on this level, when in all reality, none of us are important unless someone sees something in us. Like, we're all just spokes on the wheel on a fucking bicycle that'll never stop. You know?
It's all still a carnival show.
100%. 100%.
With that being said, I'm going to wrap up with you tonight, and I can't not be any more gracious that you gave me your time. You're here when you're super busy in your schedule of your home life. I appreciate the time. I appreciate having a conversation with you. I look forward where I can bring you into Spotlight with Shadow, where we can deep dive into every aspect of your career. But
oh, absolutely, yeah. Well, I'll 100% come back. This has been great.
Thank you, appreciate that. Again, thanks in part to Canadian Deathmatch for hooking me up with this project, and it's been something that I didn't think was even going to come to fruition when I thought of the Shadowsphere. But the boys at the Crazy 8 made it feel worth bringing them all in and doing it. And girl, I should say, Jesse Mack is on the card here when I finish the interview.
Yeah.
Rather not get punched. I got to make sure that
Jesse Mack is fucking tougher than most of the fucking rosters. So
yeah,
I ain't gonna vote for there.
My name's not Bad Catch. You don't need to get beat up by her. With that said, Tyler, I appreciate everything. Canadian Deathmatch, guys, I appreciate you, and I love doing this. Is there anything you want to say before we go, Tyler?
Shit. I'm grateful for this. I think this is only the second or third podcast interview I've done since I've gotten hurt and come back. So like, I'm still trying to get used to it again. But no, I'm grateful to be on here. Great, like like I've been a part of a lot of interviews where it's all the same shit over and over again, and like there's always some type of cheap shot or low blow, and it pisses me off. And I've actually kind of shied away from doing a lot of these things. But getting to meet you and we've talked, like, no problems, and this was great. Like I said, I'll gladly come back on when it fits into both of our schedules. And yeah, mostly just thank you.
I mean, you said you're in Orangeville in August. I don't live too far from there, so I might just pop down and see you there too. You never know when I'm going to show up.
That's it. That's it. Like I said, all my shit will be on the social medias as they come my way. So all the dates and cities and all that shit. Like once I get it all organized, or maybe when my fiance gets home, they'll have her organized.
With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, make sure you're supporting your indie wrestling. Make sure you're supporting your local scene. Make sure you're supporting indie wrestlers like Tyler, picking up their merch, supporting them in their matches, showing love. A likeable on the post or a reshareable post of theirs to pronounce that they're doing something in the cards coming up. Make sure you just do that, because not everything costs money to do. But make sure you support all your indie friends. Make sure you're supporting everything local. And with that being said, I'm Shadow. That's Tyler. Welcome to the Shadowsphere. Good night, everybody.
Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.